This episode of Film Riot is brought to you by Domain.com. Today on Film Riot, we have fun with fog. Mother fogger. Welcome to Film Riot, the show that takes the mystery out of the effects and techniques, going to some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Conley. We're getting back into some things that you guys were asking about from the Adobe and the Frog project. Today, we're going to be talking about the use of fog for your shot, making it all sexy and whatnot. But before we get into that, feast your eyes on this gloriousness. And also this. The new show motto over the past few months has been write, shoot, edit, repeat, and you guys seem to really respond to it just as much as we have. So I decided we definitely had to do something with this. It started out first as me making the wristband, which I only made one just for myself, just as a reminder for me to look down, see that, and just be reminded to push harder, be creative, and make more stuff. Then a bunch of people noticed that and seemed to want one, so I decided we would make those available for you guys, and of course, we decided to throw shirts into the mix as well, since we got a crazy amount of requests for that too. So if you're interested in wrapping your person with this filmmaker battle cry, go to our store right here, and you will find them there. They are on sale as of today. On sale. Film stuffs. So I knew I wanted to use fog in these moving in shots. I wanted to get a dreamy sort of Spielbergian vibe going on, which I pretty much always want to use this effect. I just never have time to add it in. And just so you can see what it is doing, here's a shot of the room without the fog and then one with. Right away you can see how much it works to level out the light and carry the color of the light as well. Without the fog you don't really get that blue backlight glow happening, but with it you get a nice additional orb of blue in the back there. But mostly, I just love the overall look that we're getting in this image, since the fog is just softening everything, the highlights, the dark areas, and everything in between. Of course, you have to be careful with it when doing a shot like this. Too much fog and it becomes very obvious. Like in this shot here, you can see it moving through the air, which in this case is a bit distracting and calls attention to itself and the effect that we're using. But you don't need to go crazy with it to get the effect you want. Even the most subtle amount of fog is gonna get some great results. For instance, this shot has fog in it, but you can't tell until we compare it to the shot without. Once we switch between them, you can see how much it's filling in the shadow areas. No change in the lighting between these two shots, just the addition of fog. Now to spread the fog throughout the room, I would just get the machine working to fill the room. Then I used a fan to spread it out, making sure that there weren't any areas clumping together that would show that obvious fog in the air. What resulted is a really nice and soft daytime shot. Feels freshly moved in, almost dreamlike. I really love the blooming highlights, so much more pleasing, and how it carries the color really does add a lot to the shot as well. But there is a lot more that you could do with fog, especially if you want to get obvious and have fun with it. My favorite example for style would be Spielberg. He uses fog or haze all the time, and it is glorious. In fact, the Domain sketch that we did for Monday's episode was us having fun with that classic Spielberg style. I'll show you the sketch now, in case you haven't seen it, and then we'll talk about it.
It was a dark night.
Like Batman?
Without the K.
K is silent.
It was the darkest night that anyone had seen in years. That was the night it happened. You see, little Derek Derby was dared to enter the house.
The house?
Yep. He didn't want to, of course, but he couldn't stand to be called chicken. So he entered. It was darker inside than outside. He heard stories of the murderous and terrible things of awfulness and not good stuff that happened there. But he pressed on. As he walked in farther, he could see a faint glow coming from the other room. He turned the corner to see...
Well? See what?
a laptop with its web browser open to domain.com.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus. I just peed.
He stepped towards the laptop, hoping his next one wasn't his last. On the website were all the promises of the reliable and affordable hosting plans, and all the domains to discover. And he knew this was a test.
I'm scared of now more than ever.
You should be, because he accepted this test, knowing if he didn't, he would die and not live anymore, because he would be dead. He knew he had to get a website to promote himself on the internet. He got Domain.com's reliable and affordable hosting service. He used the domain discovery service to find the right name, then he added to the cart and checked out.
Oh, thank God.
That's when it happened. A domain demon right next to him. It attacked him and ate his soul right from his body. Then he ate his body too. Not a bone was left for anyone to find. He was gone. Forever. Forever.
But he got a domain. He used the discovery service.
But he didn't use the coupon code FilmRiot to get 15% off his domain name and web hosting. And that cost him his eternal soul.
I threw up in my mouth.
Protect your soul. Remember, when you think domain names,
Domain.com.
nice.
Logo.
I love that style, especially what it does to flashlights when used right. Like here in Jurassic Park, it adds so much interest and pushes the tone that much further. It also makes lighting 10 times easier. For 99% of the Derek Derby shots, I was only using one light. In the first shot, in the house, I kicked the fog machine on and let it really just fill out that area with Josh waiting outside. That way, when he threw open the door, you get a lot of the fog dancing around, adding that eerie vibe and pushing the idea that no one has been in there for a really long time. For lighting, I just have a 1K with CTB on directly behind Josh. With the fog backlit, we are getting that nice smoky effect behind him and plenty of great light streaks. The front of his face is getting some bounce from the wall to the side of him, also coming from that 1K. Then he kicks the flashlight on and we get that awesome Spielberg shine, which is what I will now refer to it as from now on. But as we move on to the next shot, what do we get? Boom. Look at that stash. My God, just glorious. Bam. Just, yeah. Right there. Like that. For this shot here, I had a white bounce card very close to Josh. So when he turns and points a flashlight, he's actually pointing it at the card so we can bounce that light back onto his face. Things like this are a great way to keep your mystery shot going and then give it some style as well. And as we play through, you can see that we wanted some obvious fog floating around the scene, giving that nice creepy atmosphere. And this one is one of the only shots that had a second light. I'm lighting the stairs with the can light I got from Home Depot. I've also positioned it just behind the wall so that it's backlighting my fog to give that nice glow in the air. This is filling out the dark areas and adding a lot of interest, which I do for the rest of the shots as well. Just about every shot is backlit. Heavy backlighting here again with the light directly behind Josh. And finally, this shot, which is another shot that I used 2 lights on. I love the 3 layers of things that are happening in this shot. First the background, then the demon attacking Josh, and then finally the flashlight. Once again, just ripping off the film god that is Spielberg. Now, a lot of people are going to jump right onto the you should have gotten the hazer thing. Yes, major films and solid productions are going to use a hazer, but the cheapest one that I've seen is around $300, and that is a cheap one. The fog machines I was using was about 50 bucks. If you're going to do a large project, by all means, rent or purchase a hazer. I know I would and will, but a $30 to $50 fog machine is a great start. Just keep smoke alarms in mind. It can be a pain in the butt, but if you even it out well enough, you should be all right depending on the fluid that you use. And yes, hazers set off alarms too. So that's a quick look at the great effects that you can get from using a fog machine for your films. How fog captures the light in your scene is really a great low-cost way to help you get a solid-looking dark scene when using digital cameras. To emphasize that, here's a shot without fog and then one with fog. You can see how much it softens the shadows to get a much more solid-looking dark shot. This might not be what you're looking for. You might want all that contrast, but it's a great thing to have in your toolkit. So grab one from your local party store or online and do some experimenting. There are so many great looks that you can get while using a fog machine, since it's just this giant diffusion for your entire location, or almost a prop within your scene if you want it to be. But that is it for today. Again, check out our new shirts and wristbands on our Triune store. We also have all of our other shirts back in stock as well, so go look at that with your face eyes. Also, Twitter, what's up? And I'll see you next week when a crazy tune was behind it the whole time. You okay?
Yeah, I just choked on some water.
Am I good to go? You fine?
I think I'm good. Actually, can you?
I think if you're gonna throw up, I'm definitely. Oh god.